Welcome to
The Neapolitan
Scoop Podcast.
My name is Steph.
My name is Shay.
And my name is Rose. Thank you for tuning in to Neapolitan Scoop Podcast, where you get your weekly scoop. If you have not subscribed to our podcast, what are you waiting for? Go subscribe right now. Before we jump in, quick word on our content. It is created for adult audiences only. We do advise listener and viewer discretion. At some point, it may be a lot to take in, so if that is the matter, take a breather, go leave, step away, come back. Today's topic, how do we hold our friends accountable, or do we just mind our own business? Accountability in friendship is about having someone who cares about your point of view, your flaws, to help you to be a better person. Holding a friend accountable can be difficult, but it can also help you maintain your friendship. Today, we'll discuss situations where we held a friend accountable, as well as when a friend held us accountable, and how we reacted and how they reacted. We also will discuss ways to gently hold your friends accountable and what measures to try when a friend isn't receptive to our criticism. With that being said, we're going to send it over to Shay for some questions.
All right. So, first question. Do you hold your friends accountable, or do you just mind your business? So I guess my question is, what are we minding our business to exactly? Is it like, oh, your friend is a drunk and you got to step in and be the intervention? Or do you just not mind your business? Or is it like, hey, holding them accountable to the friendship? I mean, it's nothing to mind your business with when you're trying to keep your friendships together. I feel like, so I was just trying to figure out exactly, I guess most are the first one, maybe. I don't know. But I guess we can talk about it.
I think it's all the way around, like holding them accountable all the way around. Either if they're fucking up or if they did something to you where you're like, because sometimes when friends do something to us and they hurt our feelings, we kind of like don't say anything sometimes just because we fear that it may mess up the friendship, or you just don't want to get into an argument or whatever. But does it really help the situation?
Right.
So are you the type of person that if a friend does something to you, you're like, hey, I didn't like what you did. This is how it made me feel, blah, blah, blah. Or are you that friend that's just like, okay, I'm going to just let her do what she do. Right. And
I think, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, then the other situation would be like, you just see a friend just kind of doing things that you feel are not good for them. Like, let's just say, for instance, you have a friend that's just sleeping around with a bunch of men and you're just like, hey, I don't think this is healthy for you. I know that it may make you feel this way, but maybe you should try this approach, blah, blah, blah. Or have you ever considered XYZ? Or are you just that friend that's like, I'm going to just let her sleep with whoever she want to sleep with because I don't feel like getting into it with her, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It ain't my business.
I know, you know what? That reminds me of when we was young, going through our early 20s, teenage times and early 20s. If my friend had multiple niggas, I'm going to let her have multiple niggas. And I might be like, shit, how many you got on your roster? Like, I think back then it was something you would applaud. Right now, I mean, I don't have any friends that are just like that, like promiscuous. So I can't really say like now I would be like, it would be something different. I still might be like, hey, do what you do. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, she grown. And maybe if she was a prostitute and on drugs, that might be a different thing to step into. But hey, if you a grown woman, you know
maybe
what you want. Maybe if
she was getting paid for it, I would be like, all right, girl.
I mean, yeah, but I just feel like she grown. She know what she wants. She know what she don't want. As long as she ain't being date raped and complaining, saying something's happening to her, then I would be like, slow down. Watch what you're doing. That's obviously a different situation. But if you out here just doing what you do, adding to your team, hey, I'm gonna applaud you. Say, get one for me because I can't do it.
So Shay is that minds her business for the most part.
I think for me, if I really care about you, I'm going to tell you the truth. And I'm going to be like, look, this is how I feel. But if I see that you're the type of person that I've already told you, like, hey, you're fucking up, or hey, you're doing too much, or this is happening and I don't agree with this, and you keep on going to the back situation, putting yourself in that situation, I'll be like, all right, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna let you take care of you because you're gonna learn your lesson. I'm just gonna be like, I told you, and I'm gonna be, and whenever it happens, when you finally like, you know what, you were right. I'm just gonna be like, I'm just gonna be like, that's it. I'm gonna be like, I knew. I mean, you can't force people to think and understand what we're telling them. Sometimes, we've lived stuff through life, and we're trying to get even our kids. We're trying to tell them, hey, don't do it because this is what's going to happen. A, B, C, and D is going to end up happening. And they're just going to, people have to fuck up on their own to understand why the things. And I think at the beginning, I try to warn people. They're not listening. I'm going to be like, okay, do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do your thing. I'm going to let you mess up. And I'll be here for when you need me.
So we have Shay, who's going to let you mind your business. We have Rose, who, if you're not receptive to what she's telling you, she going to mind her business.
Mind the business that pays me.
Hey, I am definitely the friend that is gonna kind of call you out on your BS. Especially like Rose said, if I really care about you. Now, if I don't care about you and you just a random stranger, I'm minding my business. Or even if you just an associate that I just met, I'm gonna mind my business. Unless you come to me for advice, I'm gonna give you genuine advice. But if I see a friend that I truly care about, like going down, the wrong path, and I see them just pretty much setting themselves for failure, I'm gonna definitely bring it to their attention. Like Rose says, some people you can tell them all day, like, hey, this may happen if you don't stop doing XYZ. I'm afraid of this, I'm afraid of that. You can tell them all of that, but people are grown and it's only so much you can do. I have so I'm definitely the friend that is I'm not gonna let you just F yourself up. I'm not gonna do that.
Now, remember, I said it's like it depends on the situation. Everything is not for us to just be like, I need to step in and say something, and I'm just speaking for myself, but if you headed into a bad direction of like getting locked up or you on the verge of killing yourself or something, and it's just that dangerous, then of course I'm gonna step in. I ain't gonna just be like, I'm gonna let you crash and burn. So yeah, I'll mind my business to a certain extent, but I'm also say something depending on the situation. Because just thinking about my circle of friends, I don't have no friends that are just like very immature to where I feel like I have to like watch everything they do and say something about everything they do. I ain't got that, so I don't have to worry about that. And I also think it's a certain. You was gonna say something, Rose?
No, I was gonna say definitely. It's. I agree with that. Like if you see somebody doing the wrong thing or stepping towards the wrong path, you can try to gently kind of give them that nudge where, hey, that's not right, but. I mean, people are very receptive nowadays, and you can't tell them anything because then they feel like you're criticizing them or putting them on the spot or whatever. So if your ass wants to crash and burn after I've already told you, sorry, I'm gonna be here watching you watch crash and burn, and then you're gonna come and tell me this is what happened. I'm gonna be like, okay, that's all I can do. As a friend, I could just be like, okay,
yeah,
I
okay.
feel like the Steph freeze on us. I think she did.
Oh, I'm thinking she was just looking like that.
No, she just froze in the perfect.
I'm like, she really paying attention.
She just froze in the perfect position.
Dang, she's not even talking.
That's too funny.
She completely out of there right now, as far as signal goes.
She is.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well,
let me shoot her a quick text message.
Okay. What I was gonna say, I guess while we still stuck real quick, I also think it's like holding your friends accountable to like y'all's friendship,
Yeah.
So, me and my friends, we known each other for like over 15 years, and when you know somebody for that long, the relationship probably done went through all kinds of peaks and valleys. You done had good times, you done had bad times. And I know there's been times where I felt a disconnect from my friends. They may have felt a disconnect from us. And sometimes, it took them a while to really just say like, hey, this is how I felt about something, or me even saying how I feel about something. After just about between last year, maybe 2 years ago, me and my friends finally started saying like what we feel about each other and how we can make our friendship better. But at the end of the day, we value each other. So it's like holding each other accountable to how we show up to our friendship and knowing like if we want to continue, we got to change certain things about our friendship, or we're going to go this route and, may have to sponge up the relationship. But I love my friends. I would never, So I think we have to hold each other accountable to how we show up to each other's relationships. Kind of like what I said the other day about showing up, how you would show up to your marriage or your boyfriend girlfriend relationship. You have to hold your friends to that same standard.
Yeah, see, and like I said, I think we've said it before that's why I don't have so many people in my circle, because I don't like we're not in a relationship. I shouldn't have to maintain you like a vehicle. It's, to me, it's like I shouldn't, if for a genuine relationship, and those people that are my friends that I have in my circle, it's like it doesn't take maintenance, and that is the best thing, because these are people that, and again, this is why I say, like, the people that are in my circle I trust and I can be open with, and I feel like if I'm being real with them, they could be real with me, and those are like that genuine relationship where you don't have to be like, if I said something that my friend didn't like, she'll be like, you know what, you're wrong and I don't like it, or don't talk to me that way, or you know what, talk to you later whenever you're in a better mood. And I definitely prefer that, because that person's being honest, and they're saying, yeah, we're not going to talk right now, we're not going to agree, rather than just hold it in and be like, when you're holding things back, I think you're letting it build, and it slowly builds, and then it finally just comes out. And then it's even worse, because now people are screaming at each other, people are yelling at each other, they're disrespecting each other. And for a friendship, a genuine friendship, to actually have to be maintained, I don't like the idea of that. I like those friends that you can call 20 years later and they're still there, and you start talking like you've never stopped talking. Those are the people that I hold in my circle, are like, we'll stop talking for 3 days and we'll be like, oh, and guess what, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, I got tea. And all of a sudden it's like, maybe we never stop talking. Like, we know that we love each other. We know that we're there for each other, but we also know that we're adults and we have lives and we have relationships that need to be catered and kids that need to be catered to. So for me, it's just like having to put that time and effort on somebody that is my friend, that's already, so we're supposed to have already, created that bond. I don't know. That's too much for me personally, but I definitely understand where you're coming from. I mean, some people like to hold those friendships like an investment. For me, it's just, either we're friends or we're not.
For me, it's definitely an investment. I mean, I'm not friends with somebody for over 15 years to not see it as an investment. And and I definitely see my friends as people worth fighting for. So if they say, hey, I feel like there's a disconnect, hey, they holding us accountable to where our friendship is, and they are old enough and strong enough to say, hey, we should probably work on this, because I value you and I know you value me, and I don't want us to fall, type shit.
Yeah.
So I mean, I fucks with it. I don't mind it, because it lets me know where I may be lacking as a person. And yeah, I know I got a lot of shit going on. They got a lot of shit going on. But I think if we value shit and we don't want it to like dull out, I think it's okay to have those conversations every once in a while if somebody's feeling like a disconnect.
Yeah, but then we go back to that they're being honest and they're telling you, hey, this is what's going on. But they have to be available and open and honest to tell you this is what's happening. Hey, I've been feeling neglected, or hey, I need some time for us to be bonding as friends. But it's the same thing. Like, you have to have that trust, and you have to be able to, like you said, hold each other accountable. Just be like, hey, what's going on? We haven't talked in 3 weeks. Like, let's go have some lunch. To me, it's that easy. If somebody wants to have bonding time, they can just be like, hey, let's go have some lunch.
That's always down to eat.
Yeah, or a drink. It could be as easy as like,
right.
It could be like, we haven't seen each other in a year. Let's go have a drink, and then those are the best kind of friendships to me, where the conversation just flows like naturally. You don't have to force that conversation.
We can even put something on the schedule just to make it easy, like we do.
Yeah.
Oh, what you doing on this day? Let's go out to eat, because we know life get hectic, right? But that's how you hold each other accountable. Like, hey, at least we're doing this. At least we're doing that.
Yeah.
Definitely. But to not spend so much time on one question, we got to keep moving.
Stephanie's back.
Thank you for coming back, Steph.
You're welcome. I don't know what happened.
Okay, so let's jump around. So, have you ever held someone accountable and they reacted defensively? How did you respond, and how did it make you feel? Did it strengthen or weaken your relationship?
Well, I have. I think it's very natural for us as humans to be receptive to something somebody else is telling us. especially if they're kind of pointing the finger and saying you're doing this wrong. I think it's just natural for us as humans to be receptive and want to not accept that. But I think that it's also up to us as humans to kind of step back and be like, is this really what's going on? Is, what is it something I really need to work on, or is this something that, I can live with, going by? I think for me, again, we go back to that. Like, if I tell somebody, hey, I feel A, B, C, and D, and hey, or this is not working out, or hey, you're drinking too much. I'm scared you're going to have an alcohol problem, or you're going to have alcohol poisoning, and that person keeps on doing it. I'm just going to retract myself from that situation. I'll be like, I did what I could. We're adults as well. So I also think that's when it comes to like holding that person accountable to the fact that I gave you advice or I told you something, and it was up to you to take it as an adult. If you want to take it, good. If you don't, then I can't really force you to understand and see things my way. So I kind of just, so if I see that person is just kind of blinded to what they want to see, I'll pull myself out and I'll just be like, okay, I'm just gonna be on the sidelines, because they ain't no use to, what's that saying? You can bring a horse to water, but you can't make it
can't
drink.
let it drink. I love that one.
Yeah. And it's true.
So, so you held them accountable. They reacted defensively, and your response was to fall back. So, do you think that strengthened or weakened your relationship with them?
It on my behalf, it definitely weakens it.
And how did it make you feel?
Because I think at this point, it makes me feel like that person doesn't care about my input, or that person. So I'm gonna be like, look, why am I? There's where we go back to when you're strengthening those relationships. I feel like if you're truly my friend, you're not gonna tell me something that's gonna harm me. So if I'm telling you something, it's not to harm you. It's not because I want to see something bad happen to you. It's because I want you to do better, to succeed, or I'm seeing some things happening. You have a pattern. So to me, it's like, if you don't want to take it, then I'm just going to be like, you know what? Okay. So that just means that my opinion to you does not matter. I do not hold that place in your life where to what I say is important enough. So maybe I need to retract myself and make myself available to you if you need it, but I'm not going to be bugging you for it. I'm not going to be like, oh, you need to stop drinking. You need to stop drinking. Like, I'm not going to be bugging you, because people are going to, like we said, they're adults, are going to do whatever they want to do. So to me, it's just, it weakens it, because of course, it's like, now I'm going to retract myself from the scenes. It's not.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's just me.
Let me see. Have I ever, I've always held people accountable. I am good for trying to hold people accountable. Have I ever held someone accountable? They reacted defensively all the time. And I think, honestly, it's in my delivery sometimes, because I can be very blunt.
And like they say, it's not what you said, it's how you said it.
It's how you say it. And I have tried to, get better at gently saying stuff. But I'll just be like, and I used to be the type to be like, I told you so, when they did mess up, and then I'm like, why are you acting? See,
that's why nobody want to tell you nothing now.
But no, it wasn't just
like, why are you acting like it's news? Like, that would
definitely
you're
be
an alcoholic.
And that's the thing. So. It's like, it wouldn't be like a straight up I told you so. It's more so like, I'm looking at you like, bro, like we've had this conversation before. Like, why are you acting brand new? Like people will literally, like, you'll sit there and tell them, hey, XYZ, 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 if you don't stop XYZ, this may happen. And then when it happens, they will literally act like you did not have that conversation with them. They will literally sit there and be like, I can't believe this happened. Why not? I can't.
You ain't see it coming, but I saw it coming. Okay.
And it's like, who are you trying to convince here? Yourself or me? Because I'm not convinced. I'm convinced that I knew this might have happened. Like,
they're trying to convince themselves.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
I think so too. I think they're trying to convince in their head they don't want to prove themselves wrong. It's like, how did this happen to me? I was doing everything right. When in reality, you weren't. Like,
and what I had to learn is, instead of saying, I told you so, is more so of saying, how can I help you move forward in this situation? Let me be a support system, instead of, because I told you so isn't gonna help the problem at this point.
Yeah.
But in the back of your mind, you want to say it so bad. You want to say it so bad, just for all the times that you just ignored me and made it seem like I was a problem, but it's cool. We ain't gonna
That kind of reminds me of that thing on Instagram. That really?
Yeah, you just because that's literally what we have to do. Like,
Yes.
what?
Really?
I can't. You gotta literally convince yourself that you can't believe it. I can't believe it either, girl. I can't. Like, damn, I hate that happening.
Like,
Yeah.
dang,
You're trying to tell me we've been telling you for months that you're drinking too much, but all of a sudden you have an accident, get a DUI, and it's news. You cannot believe it's happening.
It's the
You're drinking
dang.
every single day.
It's the dang. That's crazy.
To be honest, they probably like, dang, I should have listened. And that's probably
like
going
what they're
in the back of
saying.
their head for sure.
And that's
All we
probably
gotta
what
say
they're
is, damn,
saying.
that's fucked up. That's all you gotta say,
Damn, that's fucked up.
And that's all you need to say as a friend. That's like
that's the new I told
I
you
told
so
you
without
so.
saying
Yep.
damn, that's fucked up.
Damn, that's fucked up. I can't believe that shit.
Yep.
And your reality, you're just like, oh Lord.
You just sit there like,
Mhm.
but they react. So how did it make me react in the past before I reached a level of maturity? Typically when I would hold someone accountable, they would get defensive. Now they getting loud. Now they're yelling. I would typically match their energy. So now we're both yelling over each other. And now somehow, some way I end up being the villain. I don't know, whatever. But what I've learned as time goes by is that once somebody starts yelling and screaming and hollering, I just remove myself, like mentally. I exit. It's like, okay, we're not even about to go there. I don't even have the energy for it, So it definitely has weakened the relationship because now I don't feel comfortable coming to you and telling you anything because I feel like you're going to get defensive and you're going to try to attack when I'm just trying to help you.
I can agree with that.
Sometimes I will try, like if the person comes back to me and says, you know what, I got out of character. If they take accountability after the fact, then I'll be like, I understand. We all get defensive sometimes. Then I'll continue on to give you.
But I feel like you, Steph, you're very forgiving when it comes to something like that. I think you're very much like, yeah, we both kind of yelled at each other. We both hooked up. Let's get over it. Let's get through. For me, it's like, nah, when we got to that level of disrespect, for me, it's over. Like, there should be no reason why two grown-ass people are screaming at each other like we about to fist fight, like we 26. Like,
I just don't understand it. I just don't understand it either. Why are we over here knucking and bucking? Like,
yes.
Look, if you book. Oh, that was a nice song back then.
And that's why our backs and our knees hurt.
But you know what I'll say is, I feel like when that happens, like when your friends act out and you hold them accountable, even if they don't hold themselves accountable, I feel like in the back of their mind, when they go home, they know you're right. And the friends that come back and say, you know what, I was tripping. There was some truth to what you said. And I know that you said it from the heart. That you have literally just helped your friend grow as an individual.
I'm a Leo, though. I need some kind of acknowledgement in you being wrong.
I agree.
You
like,
because it's not true, Shay. Tell me it's not true. I need some kind of acknowledgement.
No, it's definitely true. It's
like, I need you to come back and say,
crazy. I'm not tripping. I need you to say what I know we both know.
Tell me I'm not crazy.
Yeah. That's the only way you gonna know that they learned. Like, okay, you know what we were talking to. You learned your lesson here. You
like, does it make
accountability? Yeah. So now it's like, okay, now we can move forward. And I feel more comfortable.
People looking at you like you're crazy when you're telling them that no, and you're like, dude.
See, now that shit gonna piss me off.
Oh my! And that's why you got to cut it off, because they're gonna say something else, and it's gonna make you even more mad and more mad. And now y'all on level 10, your blood pressure up, and nothing was resolved.
You gotta eat some candy.
And now they done flipped the script because you probably cursed them out, and now they just telling half the story, and they saying, "Oh, well, she cursed me out. Oh, but you forgot to say the part." Yeah,
tell them why I cursed you out. Yeah,
exactly. Tell that part. Don't tell half the story. Tell the whole story. Where it started. So yeah, definitely.
It started when we were born.
All right. Next question. So similar to this one. So have you ever been held accountable and reacted defensively? If so, what made you react defensively, and did it strengthen or weaken your relationship? So I guess I'll go real quick. So yes, I have been held accountable on some shit, and because I believe in taking accountability for my shit, I have no problem in saying, you know what, you're right. I agree. You know, depending on what it is, because like, you know, sometimes you do have a stance on stuff when you feel like you're right about something, but sometimes when you know, like you said, you know when you fucked up. Sometimes you know when a situation probably been taken too far. You just whatever it may be, I don't know, but you know. So when there's a situation that maybe I was wrong in, I'm okay with saying, you know what, you're right, or I'm sorry, or you know what, I would do better, or I understand where you're coming from because I thought of it and I got the same idea that you got. Like I get it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't react defensively unless I know it's bullshit. Because like I said, I ain't always wrong. And I'm not always right, but I'm not always wrong. And if I feel like it's some bullshit you trying to just put on me, hell no, we're not about to do that. But for the most part, I don't try to react defensively. I try to understand where that person's coming from. And I do that with the hopes that the roles will reverse. They wouldn't give me so much fight on their end. They would say, you know what, you right. I did wrong too, you know, but that's me expecting me out of other people. When in reality, not everybody take accountability for their stuff. So
that part,
you know,
what you just said, you expect you out of other people.
Yeah.
And that's where it starts, because you can't expect people to be receptive to criticism as you would be.
Right. Because, you know, I think I'm mature. I think I'm able to handle certain shit. Like, you know, I know when something's probably been taken out of hand or when it's been too much or when I may have fucked up. Not everybody can say when they fucked up because it's hard to do. People have too much pride. And I don't have too much pride. Like I said, I'm not always right and I'm not always wrong. But when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And when I'm right, I'm right. If that makes sense.
I mean, you can sometimes believe you're right and be wrong.
I don't know, man. When I be right, I be right.
True.
And when I be wrong, I be wrong.
That's true.
Who identifies if you're right or if you're wrong? It's kind of like, I think sometimes you have to see it from both sides, because you may think you're right and you have to be open to like dig deep and be like, you know what? Maybe I could have done that differently. And you may have thought you were right and you were really wrong. You know, so just because you think you're right doesn't mean you're right.
When I think I'm right, it's because I already analyzed the situation from both sides. If I'm wrong, it's because I've already analyzed it. Like I know, like that's why I take accountability. I know where my faults can lie sometimes. I know that I get angry. I know how far I know how my temper can be when I like reach a 10. Don't bring me to a 10, but if we at a 10 and I overreact, I'm sorry. You know.
So is it easy for you to come back and admit it to the person? Like, you know what, I was wrong for yelling. I was wrong for whatever it is that you did. Is it easy for you to come back and actually admit it? Or do you just kind of come back and like, you know how some people just act like nothing happened and like, oh, let's be friends again?
No, I don't like to blow stuff over, because like when conflict happens, I like to resolve it. So I don't try to leave stuff at just damn, I lost my train of thought. I do try to resolve it. I don't try to leave it as though, like, if I don't know, I feel like if I did something wrong, I may want to, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe not, maybe so. I don't.
Has anyone ever held me? Has anyone ever held me accountable? It took me a while to learn to take accountability and to be receptive to criticism, because kind of like Shay said, I always thought I was right. And it was like, and one thing I would say is when people were criticizing me or when a situation would happen, I would always only think about my feelings and how I was feeling. Like, this is how you made me feel. This is how you made me feel. I never thought about the other person's feelings and how what I may have said or done may have made them feel a certain type of way that may have made them react a certain type of way towards me that didn't hurt my feelings. So it's kind of like I had to learn to look at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And honestly, I didn't start actually learning how to do that until I got in a relationship and we started living together, and then we had children, and it was like, okay, I'm tired of arguing.
Yeah.
Man,
We're
children
gonna have
teach you a lot. When you incorporate kids, it's like a whole different ball game.
yes. And it was kind of like I was talking about me, and how I felt. And, oh, I feel like I'm doing all the work. I feel like I'm doing this. I feel like I'm doing all that. And he felt the same way. It's like, well, I feel this way. I feel this way. I'm like totally ignoring all of his feelings. Like, I don't care how you feel. I'm talking about me, you know? But then when I started realizing, what he was, when I started listening instead of listening to respond, I started seeing like, you know what? I can meet you halfway. But I have to take accountability for my faults. You have to take accountability for yours. And then we can both come together and agree on something,
Yeah.
But as long as we're sitting up here arguing about our feelings and none of us is hearing each other. So it took me a long time because I'm really like,
I can definitely agree. I'm hard on a nigga. Like when it comes down to a man, I don't think they have feelings sometimes. I just don't think they understand. And then I be forgetting that they human.
Yeah, they also got mommy and daddy issues,
and they got feelings that they don't admit to. And sometimes as a woman, we can really step on them nerves and not really understand that, And we are selfish when it comes to us and our feelings because it seems like we all that matter, but we not all that matter. And I had to learn that myself.
Right,
and that's very true.
Another thing I had to learn is to find that root cause for the way you're feeling. Because sometimes what we display is not what we're really feeling. For example, if your friend or your significant other does something that hurts your feelings are hurt, but you display that in anger because now he hurt your feelings and now you in his face talking about how he hurt your feelings. And to him, it's like you're yelling, you're screaming, or to her, whoever it is, her or him, you're yelling, you're screaming, and they're like, whoa, like, what did I even do? And, it's like you have to take a step back and sometimes ask yourself, like, why do I feel this way? What about what they said made me hurt my feelings? Then you go to them and you say, hey, this hurt my feelings. And this is how this made me feel. And I think that's a better approach versus, I don't like what you said to me and you was wrong for that.
Sometimes even if you approach a narcissist like that, it don't even matter. They gonna still be like, wait.
But we talked about narcissism and them type of people, you just gotta let it go. It's like, hey, I'm gonna let you be.
You ain't gonna understand where I'm coming from. Yeah, regardless of my approach, I can be rah, I can be calm, and it don't even matter. You ain't gonna understand anyway.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think that I think that's where you go. Like Steph said, what's the base cause of them being that way? Because that doesn't necessarily mean they don't care about what you're saying. It just means your opinion is not of it's not going to bother them. Because I think I'm like that sometimes. Like if your opinion matters, I'm gonna take what you're telling me. I'm gonna take it home with me. I'm gonna think about it. If your opinion doesn't matter, I'm gonna let you talk all you want. I'm just gonna be like, okay, really? I need to do what? Okay, next time. I'm not gonna change. I'm not like if I don't care about you, your opinion ain't gonna matter shit. It's gonna go through like in one ear, out the other. Because what you think about me does not bother me. Now, if you're somebody that I care about and I appreciate, we're talking about spouses and stuff. Yeah, if you're pissed off at each other, you're screaming shit at each other. Well, you do this, you do that. I think that's the worst kind of place to bring out those things because you're mad at each other. And they say, what do they say? When you're mad at each other, the truths come out. So I think like Steph, over time, I've learned that those things have to be brought up quickly so that when you are mad, you're not bringing them up then.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. So we have reached the end of the questions. Thank you, Shay.
These were some really good questions. This was a really good topic.
They were.
Yes. I think a lot of people can learn something from it.
Exactly. I feel good. I feel like I was in therapy just now. I don't know why. Maybe this is something I needed without knowing I needed it.
Sometimes it be like that. We don't even know what we need. It just falls in our lap, and it's like, dang, I didn't even know I needed this.
I feel like I just talked about my feelings.
You said my heart feels happy today.
Yes. But before we close, we're gonna just I'm gonna name some ways to gently hold your friends accountable. And one is be compassionate but not judgmental. You can try saying things like, I'm concerned that you're putting this off because I know how important you said this was to you. So it's not being judgmental. It's kind of like saying, I'm only bringing this up to you because I know it's important to you. So it's not even about me. It's about you.
Make it about them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Set boundaries. You can say things like, I see this conversation is upsetting you. I think we should both step away and take some time to process separately. And that's kind of like that situation where it's like, okay, if they start yelling, it's like, okay, you know what? We're not getting nowhere. Let's just, but don't say it like that because, and see, that's
what I was going to say, because that's just going to piss me off more.
Yeah.
You feel like it ain't getting nowhere.
That's where
getting nowhere.
That's where I struggle because I'll just be like, wait, hold up. Like, this is just, we're going to talk about this later. And now it's like, oh, you don't want to listen to me. So just do it gently. Just be like, you know what? I think we should both take some space right now. We're both tripping.
Can we pin this?
Even though I know you're tripping, I'm just going to say I am too.
Not you gaslighting people.
I'm just trying to diffuse the situation. Focus on the behavior or action. Make it clear what was said or done was harmful and why. And that's what I just mentioned earlier. You hurt my feelings because you did XYZ and XYZ made me feel this way. Mm-hmm. It's some people are that basic. It's kind of like see, spot, run. Just like that. So respond, not react. And we just talked about that. Reacting with anger, shame, or resentment will likely increase the temperature in the room. Mm-hmm. So it's hard. Use helpful phrases. You can try saying something like, tell me more about the way you're thinking, or help me to understand your perspective.
Tell me more.
Hey, what do you
help
right
me
now?
to understand your perspective part because maybe I'm just not getting it.
And that's true in so many situations. Like sometimes you're so busy looking at it from your scope that you're not looking at it from theirs. And then you're like, oh, okay, I see where you're coming from, you know? Excuse me. Give feedback. Provide honest, open, and ongoing feedback. And don't confuse accountability with control. So holding people accountable doesn't mean hovering over them and watching their every move. It's not like, hey, friend, how many drinks did you have?
Oh my God, I hate a person like that. Like, okay, if you tell me I'm tired of you coming home drunk every day, okay, cool. But then don't make it be like, oh, you gonna drink when you go out? Of course, I'm grown. I get the point. Don't be stuck up.
You drinking again. That's like number 3 already. That's
damn. And
you get off my bag.
Like, I am grown.
Yes. So don't confuse accountability with control. So I hope this episode taught everybody a little bit of something. Trust me, when you reach that level of accountability, it helps you grow so much and it helps you to understand different perspectives. I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to keep you out of arguments because sometimes all of that goes out the window and it's like, you know what, today is the day I'm going to say what I got to say.
Yeah.
But I think it'll help a lot in friendships, romantic relationships, marriages, all kind of relationships, and at work too. Shit. So nonetheless, we want to thank you for tuning in to our podcast. If you enjoyed our content, don't forget.
I went too goddamn. I'm sorry. That was funny.
Anyways, if you enjoyed our content, don't forget to go subscribe to our channel, like and comment. Don't forget, we love feedback. Give us all the feedback. We love to hear it. We want to grow too. While you're at it, follow us on all streaming platforms. Any platform that streams podcasts, we are on it. Also, if you have a topic similar to the one of today or something different that you just may want us to discuss, feel free to send us a DM or send us an email. So again, thank you and see you next week for your weekly scoop serving. And don't forget to catch us next Tuesday for our live. Peace.
Bye.